That's the sound of a big deal. At Wayfair, that sound happens a lot. Dream sofa for half the price? Big deal. New dining table you've been eyeing for months? Big deal. Finally picking up those last few pieces and finishing that bedroom? Now that's a really big deal. Whatever your home needs, Wayfair has the selection, the savings, and over millions of 5-star reviews to back it up. Shop wayfair.com today before someone else snags your big deal.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
What are some key tips for increasing your work from home productivity? Stay tuned and find out.
Welcome.
Okay, here's the question.
Serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers.
Let's go.
This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it out.
Well, my Dark Horse friends and family, welcome back to your daily dose of productive Christmas Day learning. I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and you, well, that's infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur or one in the making. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, or just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business tips and results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that's why I'm here hitting you with yet another daily success episode coming to you from Dark Horse HQ as we dive deep into success with actionable advice, tips, and steps designed to help you level up your game, because as we already know, there are no shortcuts to success except for taking those little steps towards your goal every single day. All right, I'm going to have to mention it one more time. So here we are with this COVID impacted or pandemic impacted 2020. Oh my gosh. And I think for those that hadn't worked from home before, yeah, they got their first taste. And you know, you hear the old saying, don't bring your work home. You kind of had to at this point, didn't you? You were kind of forced. In many cases, folks were forced to bring their work home. Now, many learned that, you know, working from home isn't everything it cranked up to be now, is it? I mean, it's not all glamorous and hoopla, right? It's, you know, sometimes you're sitting there and you just can't focus. You're paying attention to this, you know, the cat's throwing up on the floor, the dog barks every time something walks through the front yard or a package is delivered, and you're wondering, God, how do people stay productive at home working from home? Well, let's spend a little time chatting about that, shall we? For me, I think the very first thing to consider is get up early and start work immediately, right? Get right up when you're fresh and your mind is charged and you're full of that positive energy and start doing your work. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You know, have your cup of coffee, eat some breakfast, and then sit down and start grinding away. Those that get up and start cranking away early get a lot done. Think about it this way for a minute. If you're one of the ones that gets up early, and you can define what early is, right? Early for you. But my wife and I, we're usually up about 3:30 in the morning. And I'm not saying get up at 3:30 in the morning, but certainly get up pre-office hours and start grinding away, because that quiet time before your coworkers start reaching out to you via phone call, via email, or text messaging, or whatever communication channels you have set up for you to communicate, you'll get so much done because that's that focused time. Then when the regular hours kick in, well, then you'll feel awesome because you'll have gotten so much done that those little, I'll call them inconveniences, those little annoyances of the constant phone calls and messages won't be bothering you quite as much. And have a dedicated workspace in your home for yourself. And it could be just a little cubby in the corner of a room, maybe your bedroom or your living room or whatever. So even if you have a small living space, just have a little dedicated space that this is where I work right here. Maybe it's a little desk up in a corner with a chair and a lamp, and your laptop is sitting there, or your desktop. Heck, I would even go so far as, put a picture that you like there. Maybe it's just your spouse or something that you just find enjoyable. Make that little space comfortable and inviting to you. And then I would, let's loop back to the early morning thing. When you first start your day, go into that space and work from there. Work on the tough tasks that you have right away. Remember yesterday's episode talked about eating that frog. You don't want to look at that sucker too long, right? So sit there in your little dedicated space and grind away at the toughest things you have to do today. And then maybe later in the afternoon, well, then you can go sit on your couch with your laptop in your lap or at the kitchen table, with the family and everything, cruising around the house. And that leads into the next one for me is just because you're working from home doesn't mean you have to stay home. Get out of the house, grab your laptop, and go to, I don't know how easy this will be right now, but, go to, a coffee shop that has Wi-Fi, or if you have the ability to connect with Wi-Fi to your cell phone, go to the local park and sit there amongst nature where it's a lot more relaxing. The stress level is far lower, and that could be very productive, and it breaks up the monotony of just working from your home and feeling, cabin fever and cooped up, right? And while you're working from home, I think one of the things that we don't get to do as much intentionally is distraction breaks, which are really good for you physically and mentally. So plan in some distraction breaks. Maybe you work for a couple hours and you take that 15-minute break that you would probably take at work, and you'd be chatting with your coworkers and what have you, or they would come over and say, "Oh my gosh, I saw this show last night." That would be like a distraction break that would happen naturally in the office. Well, plan some of those, get on your phone and, cruise social media for 15 minutes or whatever, or I don't know, maybe you get up and walk the dog, or just something that gets you away so that your mind frees itself, and then you kind of does a little mental recharge of sorts, right? And don't forget to set yourself some time for lunch, right? Just because I'm working from home, I've got to be sure I'm being super productive so they don't make me come into the office, right? You still need to eat, y'all, all right? Set some time, break away, have a bite to eat, enjoy it, makes it comfortable. And the next one is interact with your family members. It's okay. Right? Interact and say, hey, hang out with them. If you got kids or maybe one of your distraction breaks is, taking 15, 20 minutes and going and playing with your kids. One of the coolest things about working from home is the fact that you get to spend that additional time with your family, or at least have that connection with them because you're there and they're there. And how awesome is that? And maybe do you have a fellow coworker that is also working from home that lives nearby? Maybe you invite them over and you guys, both sit at the kitchen table and work from home while you can interact with each other there. Still, interact with humans, everybody, not just those letters and numbers that are on your phone. Another one I like to do is when I'm working from my little comfortable little space here in my KISS room, is I like to keep my favorite music on in the background. Heck, I even do this when I am working from an office, and sometimes the music differs. I mean, if I'm really in a focus and zeroed in on something, it might be something, I'll call it more energizing, maybe some old Queen, right? Maybe some Hailstorm. But if I'm working on something where it's like, it needs a little less focus, I can just crank away at it, or I want to charge myself even more, I'll play something a little bit more aggressive. I think one of the keys to remember is that music can make repetitive tasks far more pleasurable, and they actually increase your concentration on the task, right? Now, that's provided you're not making it super loud, you're not playing this music at concert levels. That could actually pull you away, right? All right. So you want to keep this playing at a level where you can maintain your concentration, okay? And I think the next one is track what you're doing every hour. Have yourself a little sheet that has all the times down there, and you're like, okay, between here and here, I got that done. Between here and here, I got that done. Between here and here, I got that done. Self-tracking will help you decide when you're the most productive. You may find that, Tracy was right. If I get up an hour early and I jump right on and start doing things and sip my coffee and eat my breakfast while I'm doing it, man, those first 2 hours, those are magic. Or you may find out that, man, I tried that and it just doesn't work for me. I really don't kick in gear, right, mentally or physically till about 8, 9 o'clock. Okay, well, then that's cool. Then drop in at 8, 9 o'clock and start when you're at your peak and then grind away, right? Find your maximum time. That way, time is precious, right? You only get 24 hours a bloody day. You want to make the most out of every one of those hours. And plus, the tracking of the time will help you understand, man, I actually did get a lot done. So when you're feeling that moment of, oh my God, did I get enough done today? You can actually review your list and you're like, man, I killed it today, all right? So it can actually be a very good motivator as well. Oh, one thing I almost forgot for those, those breaks, right? The distraction breaks. I just had a complete brain fade there for a moment. You can also throw in some stretching, right? Get up and move your body around. That's one of the huge benefits of those breaks. Or it could even be meditation if you're into that kind of thing. Be sure you're drinking enough water and then doing those stretches periodically. Get that blood flowing, get your body moving. Don't just sit there like a couch potato, literally, right? And let your body just kind of sit in odd positions. And therein lies another thing. Be sure the space you've created a space that allows you to sit comfortably for those periods of times. And if you think about it, usually if you're in the office, you'll get up from your chair and you'll go visit with your colleagues, your friends, your boss, right? You get called to meetings or whatever. So your body is getting those movement breaks there too. So be sure to put in those movement breaks, maybe once an hour, maximum I'd say twice an hour, and then dedicate some time to that movement. Hey, I'm going to get up, I'm going to move around. I'm going to walk. I'll go outside and I'll do a walk around the house, or I'll walk from the kitchen to here, or I'll circle the kitchen table, whatever it is. Walk the dog. Hey, there you go. Spend some time with the dog. Okay. But it actually helps improve your focus and it reduces your chances of being distracted when you get back to work. Double win. Hello. All right. And the last two, I think one of the key things is set specific work hours, right? The beauty of working from home is the fact that you can be flexible with your work hours. Now, you may have a role that says, I have to work from X to Y. Well, that's fine. Then that's what it is. Then your specific work hours are already set for you. But if you have the ability to work when you're most productive, and hey, maybe you can lobby your boss. Since I've been doing this, I've been tracking my stuff and show them the sheets. I find that I'm most productive from here to here. Can I move my schedule from here to here? Quite often, they want you to be as productive as possible. It might work. So give it a shot. Worst thing they can say is no. Either way, you'll set some specific work hours. I know I've been lucky enough to have the bosses that says, hey, as long as you get your work done, I don't care when you come in. And back in my Coca-Cola days, I was usually at my desk by 4:30, which enabled me to leave between 2:30 and 3:30, which left the whole afternoon for me to hang out with the kids and do all kinds of amazing things. All right. So set some specific hours. And then last but not least, set your schedule for the next day before you go to sleep. I would even say you could do one of two things. One is you make it part of your nighttime routine where you spend, about 10, 15 minutes kind of looking at the things that you need to do tomorrow and kind of laying them out quickly on that piece of paper where you're going to be tracking all your tasks, and then pick that big frog. Remember that big ugly frog we talked about yesterday, right? That most important task, or that one you really don't want to do because it's just a big ugly frog and I don't want to bite into that puppy. Do that one first when you're at your peak, right? That way it's done. You're going to feel really good about getting it done. And the rest of the day is just going to be like, I got that done. I'm good for the rest of the day. All right. Or the other thing you could try is that, right, you've set your specific hours. So you've completed your hours for today, and then you take the last 15 minutes before you're done for the day and you do the same thing. Write down what you need to do tomorrow, identify that that big, important task or that big ugly frog and make that your number one task for tomorrow. All right. There's some magic ways to make yourself very productive while working from home. I'm hoping you're having an amazing Christmas day. You had an awesome Christmas Eve with your loved ones or whomever you were lucky enough to spend it with. All right. That wraps up another week here at the Dark Horse HQ. I know you want to keep getting these daily tips, so make sure you go on down there and mash that subscribe button. Give us a 5-star rating while you're there and drop us some kind words in the review. That helps us out with the algorithms on Apple Tunes to make sure we get exposed to more people and more people can see all the amazing things we're doing here at the Dark Horse Entrepreneur. All right, and if you want to get to know us a little better, and us by us, I mean me and the other folks that are listening to this awesome show, go on over to facebook.com, go to that search bar, type in Dark Horse Tribe, and come on in and hang out with us. If for some reason you can't find us that way, you can go to your favorite web browser, type in darkhorseschooling.com/Dark Horse Tribe, and that'll take you right there. I look forward to meeting you in the group. All right, you get out there, you run your race, and you get your results. And then let me hear about them. Come on over into the group and tell me about them. Until next week, think successfully and take action.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this!
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.